These are both EpiPens. They're available by prescription. This is actually the original branded EpiPen. It's this shape, it comes in this container. And then recently a generic EpiPen was released to the market because it's less expensive than the branded. They have the same medicine inside, but this comes in a different shape container. Let's start with the branded EpiPen, which has been on the market for a while, maybe more familiar, and show you how to use it. So the branded EpiPen comes in a clear plastic case, and the first thing you need to do in order to use it is remove it from the plastic case. You'll see that it has a blue safety shield on the top. The most important thing you need to do before you actually administer the EpiPen is remove this blue safety shield. If you don't, the needle, which is in here, will not come out and inject epinephrine into the person who is potentially going into anaphylaxis. A lot of times people in the panic, they take the pen out of the case, they take the pen, and they go to use it, but if they haven't taken this off, no medicine comes out. So it's really important to take this out. It just pops out, and then you know your EpiPen is, as they would say, live. So not everybody knows where to inject the EpiPen, and the best place for it to go is in the outer thigh. If you're working with somebody who's having trouble breathing or choking or is in a panic, lie them down flat, get to their outer thigh. You're going to want to inject it right into the muscle of the thigh. So it's going to take a very hard kind of plunge to penetrate a person's muscle. It's not like a little pinprick. Typically people in need of an EpiPen are dressed, and sometimes the clothes are thick, like jeans, are thicker than, let's say, tights, which I'm wearing. So that means you just have to go in even harder. You have to get through the material, through the skin, and into the muscle. You're not going to see the medicine coming out of the needle. In fact, you're not even going to see the needle at all, because the needle is going to be embedded underneath somebody's skin. So don't expect to see anything squirting. Don't look for the needle. You're not going to see it until you take it out and you're done administering the epinephrine and you call 911. Just when you figured out how to use the traditional branded EpiPen, along comes the generic EpiPen, which is tremendous because it is less expensive than the branded EpiPen, but it's actually administered slightly differently. So the first thing you'll notice is it's not in a clear case. It's in an opaque case, usually yellow and black. You don't see what you're removing because the actual apparatus is completely covered by the case. So you actually are twisting off the top of the case and removing it from the bottom of the case. Now this looks more like a typical injection mechanism, right? This you can recognize as a shot. But even here, you have two ends that you need to make sure are safely removed before you administer the EpiPen. If you do one and not the other, it won't work. And it can be confusing when you're teaching people how to administer an EpiPen in case of emergency, because the branded one works one way, the generic one works another way. So you want to make sure you're clear about what you have and how to use it. With the generic EpiPen, you're pulling off the edges, the top end here, and you're pulling out the bottom here. You'll see a red warning sign here, and it's telling you that you're about to make your needle live. So you pull this off hard, it snaps. There'll be a red marker saying that this is the needle end. You get rid of your protective caps, you hold it firm, and you jam it into the outer thigh of whoever is suffering an allergic reaction. You remove the pen, you call 911, and you tell paramedics that you have just administered an EpiPen to someone who has had an allergic reaction.